This is a pole arm, of which there are many different designs. It's called a pole arm not because it has a pole, but it refers to the Old English word pole, which means head. And the reason it was called that was the idea was to lop off your opponent's head. This particular type was favoured by English foot soldiers, and it's known as a bill. There are various parts to the weapon. The pole itself can be used to hit your opponent with. These langlets are used to protect the pole from your opponent's weapon so that it couldn't be snapped. Down this side is a very sharp axe-like edge, and this hook is also sharp and could be used for hooking opponents from horseback or for cutting your opponent's legs at the hamstring. This heavy spike at the front, at the top, is used for piercing armour of varying types, and the spike at the back would also be swung down like an axe, enabling it to pierce heavy, thick armour, mainly on the head. It's a very nasty piece of equipment. These days we tend to use the word poleaxe to mean that someone's dazed or knocked down. It actually refers originally to being hit with one of these items, which would probably kill you rather than just knock you down.
This weapon here is called a glave. It has a long cutting edge and a point. Cutting edge used for slashing and the point used for thrusting. On the top half of the weapon, this is a van plate, and this will stop any of the weapons sliding down and hitting you on the hand. Also, there are two metal bars on either side of the weapon. This stops the English hacking it off with the bill as they cut the metal and protect the wood.
This is a battle axe. Weapons like this were used right through from the Viking period right to the end of the 16th century. Were popular with both fighters on both horse and on foot. They were particularly effective weapons against armoured opponents because of the weight that could be put into the swing. There was the famous incident at the Battle of Bannockburn when King Robert the Bruce, mounted upon his small horse of palfrey, engaged in combat with a fully armoured knight, English knight, Sir Humphrey de Bohun. In the course of the fight, the king, standing in his stirrups, brought the blade of his axe down upon the crown of the Englishman's helmet and split him, as Shakespeare had said, from the nave to the chops. That was very much the end of Sir Humphrey de Bohun. So weapons like this were enormously effective in hand-to-hand combat, and as I've said, were popular right throughout the whole of the medieval and border Reiver period. Not only did the weapon have an axe blade, it had a point here which could be used for penetrating an opponent's armour, and it also had a spike on the far end which could be used to administer a coup de grace to the back of the neck. A very effective weapon. Many of the corpses found in the mass grave at from the Battle of Towton, which was fought on Palm Sunday in 1461, bore evidence of wounds from weapons of this type to the head and particularly to the back of the neck. It's obvious that many of them were killed with weapons of this sort rather than by swords or bills or other weapons. At the Battle of Bannockburn, King Robert the Bruce of Scotland fought an English knight, Sir Humphrey de Bohun, in single combat in front of both armies.